Hi there, and welcome to Bustthenet. Yes, this is the show I like to call Gamechanger, where I jump into your save and take a look at it and offer my suggestions. And sometimes I come across saves that are pretty good, and there's not a lot I need to do. And this happens to be one of them. Leamington Spa is a newly promoted side in League Two, which happens to be one of the tougher leagues in England. Why? Because when you make the transition from conference to League Two, it's a big leap in terms of attributes. You're looking at an average attribute they need to beat as 12. And if you're lucky, you can get players like that and you will do well. But what I'm seeing here with Leamington Spa is a team that's actually gone into the transfer market and done pretty well. So you've got a lot of players in here. In terms of core duty attributes, which is something I'll focus on, you've done quite well. Off the ball is 12. Now, determination here is 12. His anticipation is a bit on the low side. Work rate is a bit on the low side for a striker. And his balance is also a bit on the low, right? But overall, though, he knows how to make space available for him. Good decision. Then we got another player, Ethan Warren. Now this guy is got even better off the ball, which makes him even more dangerous. Plus he's got anticipation. So you've done some really good work looking for players, and this is simple. You focus on the right attributes, just the key ones. Things like you can't expect to go out there and find a striker who's got like off the ball 14, composure 15. You can't. It's going to be really hard. But you've gone out there and you've gotten some very good players. So Ethan Warren, Josh Lundstrom, yeah, I know. Anybody who's seen me manage my saves has seen Josh Lundstrom. I think this is a good purchase. And then Jake Shepherd. So you see all your players, they're not bad. They're actually quite good. See, this is the thing here. When you go from League Two to when you go from conference to League Two, it's a big leap, and you've managed the leap really well with some astute signings. You also have trialies, I think, at the club, right? So there were trialies in the club. I think McDonald, Wes McDonald. You're trying him out. Let's see if he's here. Oh, I can't see him, but I remember playing the game, and then suddenly, I got this message that Wes McDonald's trial is over, and let's see, McDonald thing. There we go. I think this is the guy, Wes McDonald. There he is. Now he's on trial with your club. You put him on the under 18s, which is kind of a smart thing to do. He's also not a bad signing. In fact, I did sign him. When I took over the save, I actually signed him. He became our winger, and he became the best winger on the side. So you've got a potential signing that you should just grab, right? So and then we got Nathan Dyer, who's he's okay, right? But at 34, you can actually sign both of them. They can both play for you. But between Nathan Dyer and Wes McDonald, I kind of prefer Wes McDonald because he's only 24, right? He cuts inside as well. This guy has no player trait, so he might be able to beat people, but he won't beat them for pace. This guy, he'll beat players for pace, and he's got 10 for crossing. So yeah, guess what? Determination is 12, flair unexpected is 12, work rate is 12, technique is 11. Why not? So he's got potential to grow. So between the two, Wes McDonald would be my choice. Okay, so when I looked at your save, I looked at the players. Right, the first thing I did was look. I ignored where your league position was, and then I looked at the players and I went like, okay, this is not a bad team. So you've just been promoted. I'd be happy if I was successfully avoiding relegation, but guess what? Your team is not only just avoiding relegation, you're mid-table, which is like, holy cow, this team is doing well. Mid-table, you're supposed to get relegated. Instead, you're punching above your weight. You got 32 points, which is after 23 games means you're virtually assured of survival. I mean, you can get 14, you're probably guaranteed in this case, but 32 points, and I was very impressed. And you've gone with a strategy which is trying to get as many draws. Here, the important thing about playing in League Two when you get promoted is consistency of results. You don't want to lose, right? Above all, so you kind of create like a semi-table. I mean, in this case, everybody else is above you. Okay, the only teams worse than you are the ones in the division below, and even then, not everybody is worse than you. So everybody in this league is better than you in your team. So instead of having to worry about beating the top 6 sides, you basically want to get points off everybody. Right, so you're going there, you're going to make yourself hard to beat. That's to be the goal. And you've got lots of draws, which is always a good sign, because it's better to draw than to lose in when you're an underdog, right? So you're working to make yourself difficult to beat. Now this is where things started getting interesting. So I started looking at your saves and I was going, why are you conceding so many goals? So I was looking at this and I was going, oh man, I wouldn't want to be playing. I wouldn't want to be playing as you, because I'll be like, hell man, I play games and all I do is concede goals. So the goal has to be making yourself so tough to beat that you're not concede. When teams come up against you, right? You are hard to beat. So what I was looking for was patterns of play. And one thing I quickly discovered was your team tends to play the ball. When the goalkeeper has the ball, the goalkeeper just kicks the ball long. Just goes, guys, just hoof the ball. But you've got instructions like take less risky passes on your fullback, pass it short on your fullback. But then you're telling your keeper, dude, whatever it is, when you have the ball, just get rid of it. Do you know you're doing that? Because the thing is, when you don't choose play or defense, this is what a keeper does. He kicks the ball long, right? Because your players don't drop down to receive the pass. Instead, they push up, because then your back line gets closer to your midfield and they just hoof the ball, which is what was happening to you. So you get this problem, which is your keeper hoofs the ball. Your boys are not great in the air, and when they're pretty reasonably decent at moving the ball around, so you can see your boys can move the ball across the pitch. So give them a chance to play the ball. When your keeper has the ball, he kicks it long. And when he kicks it long, you have to defend. You're not scoring goals. You're defending. So what do you do in a situation like this? There are two things you can do. First up, if you're worried about the moments where you feel that playing out defense is a risk, then turn your keeper into a sweeper keeper. You see, here, your keeper could be given the instruction to take long kicks, right? But when he's playing as a sweeper keeper and you're playing play out defense, your backline drops to give him an extra option. So he can choose to pass to the defenders, or he can kick it long. That way, you keep better control of the ball. But what I was seeing in a lot of your games was, you kick the ball, he goes back, comes back, he kicks the ball, it comes back as a golden opportunity. He kicks the ball, he comes back as a golden opportunity. So this was one of the reasons why you were not doing so well. You were conceding lots of goals. So what you want to do is you want to improve your. This is one time. You see, just watch this. Okay, he kicks the ball long. Yeah, he even kicks the ball when the game is about to be over. So when I was looking through these games, I was looking at certain things like possession stats were a bit low. Okay, that's no biggie, right? I'm looking at something more significant than possession stats. I'm looking at this action zones. Now, when the ball is in your half, the ball in your half, the opposition has a hell of a lot of it. It's got 12%. That's a huge number. That's big, right? So you don't really control much of the game. So this was the problem with your tactic. Now, the other thing that I noticed when you're playing this game, so I'm looking at tactics. I'm not going to focus on two, right? You got four. These are the tactics you're using for the most part. Now you've got a split block operating here. Okay. Now, when you have a split block, your midfield has to win the ball, because that's the whole reason for playing a split block. The guys press, defense clears, midfielders win the ball. But in every single one of your transitions that I was watching, your boys press, goalkeeper clears the ball, opposition win the ball. So in this case, the gap that has been created by a split block is working in the favor of the opposition. So what do? You remove the split block. But because a split block is meant to help you control possession. So, and then you have regroup as well. So you get these guys, opposition has the ball, your boys already dropping back, your strikers are moving forward, so you're creating this huge amount of space for the opposition. So my recommendation was to remove the close down, more tackle hard on everybody, so that when your team now operates as one unit, so when you don't have the ball, they drop back, forcing them to play the ball out. So you force them out, and then you keep your side compact enough, forcing the opposition to play around you, which instead of you giving them the space, now they have to find the space. Makes it harder for you to be beaten. So this is something, I mean, in terms of roles and duties, there wasn't a lot wrong, except here, okay, like this helps with possession, right? Helps you keep the ball effectively. But it doesn't really help you build play up effectively all the time. But it's great for when you are holding on the lead and you go like, oh, what are we gonna do? We're gonna hold on the lead. Right, okay, let's hit on the break. Great, it can work. Why? You got these two players holding the midfield. You got these three players in attack. Definitely can work, right? So you got 1, 2, 3 trying to keep the ball. Nothing wrong with this tactic. In fact, I was like going, there's nothing wrong with this tactic. All he's got to do is do this and use this sporadically. Use pass into space, use it when there's a reason to use it. Now, pass into space is an instruction that asks players to play risky passes. It means they kick the ball long. Do you need it? Got NCB here kicking the ball long. Change this guy to sweeper, keeper, and defend. He'll kick the ball long. All right. Anchorman, they'll pass the ball to the anchorman or kick the ball long. Carrero, CM support, they're not doing anything. They're just going to keep the ball. Problem emerges when it's here. When the ball gets here, there's nobody to go kick the ball long. That's why you have to use that instruction. So why? So you got more direct, take more risk, close down, more tackle harder. Why not just use a DLP and support? You don't have to worry about these instructions anymore. You got DLP and support, so it becomes a lot more role driven. So you got players for this position, so they keep it simple. So this guy will play, take more risk. He'll hold his position. You can ask him to close down more if you want to, but there's no necessity unless you see the need. Because the reason why you're asking him to close down more, is because maybe you want him to go down the flanks, but got two fullbacks on support. They're going to be giving you plenty of support. The other thing you want to do is you have to understand your defensive width. Your defensive width was an issue because your boys aren't very good at dealing with crosses. So when you do defensive, it's super narrow like this. What happens is you give the opposition time to come down the flanks. When they come down the flanks, they drill crosses. When they drill crosses, you have to win them. If you don't win them, wrong strategy, which is what was happening. So I would suggest, in the land of I'm not so sure, always go 50-50. Can't go wrong. Okay, if you're really, really sure, go 100%. Okay, but in most cases, you're fine with this, right? So, do this, and then you've got this small area of engagement. Play an offside trap because it's a high defensive line. Why? Because when your boys have the ball, they will be further away from goal. So you need somebody make the area behind them unplayable. So use the offside trap. You can also just get stuck in. So now what you have is a more rigid system. Then this is the time when you think to yourself, okay, fine, I could play out a defense, hit early crosses, pass into space. If you have the lead. When you have the lead, that makes sense. Why? Because then the opposition is just attacking you and you're just clearing the ball to your players up top who can go on to try and score goals. This is okay as a system, right? So this is a workable system. Then you've got another tactic here, which is slightly more different, but more possession-based. Only problem here again is this role, Carrero, right? Carrero is going to stay wide. Mazzala is going to stay wide. Anchorman, poor guy, he's going to have a lot of work to do. So, again here, maybe a deep line player maker on support would have been a better idea. Once again, remove all these, close down more, tackle harder. You got fullback on support in Scales, who doesn't really run very much further, but this is interesting. Got sit narrow, yes, helps. I've said it many times, helps with keeping possession, moving the ball forward. But why don't we get somebody to give him a bit more support? So if you want to sit narrow, why don't you go with this is a very different role, right? Inverted wing back on defense. Why do I always go with the inverted? If I wanted somebody to sit narrow and give players a lot of support, I might go inverted wing back on defense. Then I put the fastest, smartest defender here. So he's got anticipation 11. And this guy, then I'll move this guy here and play Brown here all the time. So Brown plays in this position because he's faster and smarter. All right. So inverted wingback comes in here. He helps the Mazzala. You get a lot of you get a fair bit of ball retention, and he's on defend duty. Right, so you don't expect him to go bombing down the flanks. You can ask him to position higher up if you feel comfortable and with an overlap, though it's not necessary. So it's not always going to be necessary. Right, so this becomes a slightly different system. Now, What's the weakness of this system? As an attacking system, the gap here is a weakness because you don't have anybody punching through the gap. Now, when you play with the inverted wingback, you can afford those in certain games where you want to go for a win, Mazala on attack. Now he punches through. Now you've got two players here who can look for all these three passing options. It's a much more, and this Flanagan becomes a goal scoring threat. So now you got 1, 2, 3 goal scoring threats. And this guy is just helping Lundstrom keep control of midfield, and then if the ball gets to this guy, he just hooves the ball forward. Then we got sweeper keeper on defense here, can do the same. Most importantly, play our defense again. Right, pass into space becomes something that you want to use. Don't use work ball into box because your team isn't good enough. Right, the moment you do work ball into box, what's gonna happen is you're passing the ball around in the final third, you lose the ball. When you lose the ball, all hell breaks loose. When all hell breaks loose, you're in trouble. Right. So what I'll do is I'll probably do something like be more expressive because we need all the help we can get. So let's try thinking out of the box. And this could be definitely a different system, right? You could also go lower tempo, keep the ball. I mean, essentially what you're doing is you upping the possession stakes, making it harder for other teams to take the ball off you. It's not fantastic, but it's going to give you a lot of clean sheets. Let's just check out how we did and whether we played it the same way or slightly different. And we'll do all that next. Well, trying to keep a clean sheet is not that easy, right? Because at the end of the day, it's still the players that you have. We're playing lower league football. We played Barnet. We kept having to come back, and this was a game that was played out. We were pretty unlucky in the sense because we hit the woodwork 3 times, or rather, they hit the woodwork 3 times. Oh man! Well, as it turned out, our first match that I played against Barnet was a set piece fiasco in a sense because Barnet scored 3 of the goals from set pieces. One of our goals, which on a counter, was exactly what I was trying to see. We managed to score in open play, and then they came back, far post, set pieces, throw-ins. We don't have anybody in the far post, but I was very happy with the fact that you were able to score from open play. So this is something that we wanted to do. So certain things became obvious, right? In your set piece routines for your throw-ins, have somebody defending the far post. So this was the first mistake. Naturally, I didn't change the set pieces for the second game. Again here, we played reasonably well. Unfortunately for us, we should have won this game. We hit the woodwork 3 times. They had a penalty very early because of a mistake we made, and then we managed to score almost immediately after that. And then they had another set piece, scored again because defenders fumbled the ball. Again here, this is something I was impressed with. Open play again. We managed to score a goal because we're getting goals from open play and we're not doing very well with set pieces. Right? So these are certain areas of the game that I noticed. So what do we do with a system like this? Like, you're not doing very well. For our match against Wickham, what we did was we did a bit of match preparation before the big game. Right? So we started attacking movement, defensive shape, because these are important little training sessions that you want to include in your game. So when you go into, when they give you a bonus, so what you want to do is you want to do defending set pieces, defending corners, you want to do attacking movement, defensive shape, stuff like this. And against Wickham Wanderers, we played quite well. This match, we had more of the ball in our half, and we did quite well in the opposition half. So we created a fair bit of chances against a team. I mean, basically, a lot of teams are out there, and they are expecting to beat you. So here we actually scored a goal from I think it was from a throw-in, and then the ball moved down the flanks, and after this point, right, Shepherd down the flanks and crossing the ball, and there was a penalty after the corner, right? So they committed a foul in the box and we had a corner. And this is the other thing about your team. There are players in your team at the moment who are not very good at converting penalties, because in our first game against Barnet, we had a penalty as well, and we missed the penalty. Here, something to consider for Reece Flanagan, because I think he takes all the penalties for your side. You might want to do training for him, which is penalty focus. So what was the tactic like that we used? So basically I ended up using something different, right? So positive, this is our more counter attacking setup. So once I score a goal, this is how I play. But if for most of the games we start out like this, right? If I'm expecting to win, it's counter press, counter, high defensive line, or standard line of engagement. We get stuck in standard defensive with pass into space only if I'm chasing or wanting to score a goal. Other than that, I drop out of it. No PIs on these players. Mazzala as well, Simpson as well, Anchorman, inverted wing back. The only person who has them is this guy, fullback on support, so he keeps the ball a bit more effectively. Generally, that was it, right? If I want to play a bit more counter, if we want to defend, right? So I might go pass into space. I'll change this guy to NCB. I'll change this guy to sweeper keeper, and then we just hoof the ball. Or we could use your other tactic and make those changes. But I rather keep this one, and we kept playing like this. Of course, regroup in this case. So this is basically how I would set your team up. And I must say, if this is the way we're gonna defend, and then if I want to play a bit more attacking, all I do is this, and I start games like this. So it's only very simple changes that we do to the system. And in terms of training, you need to do set piece training a bit more. Other than that, use up the slots in the training schedule, because you're not using you gave it to the ass manager, it's fine. You got 5 empty slots in a week, so you can do attacking movement on one day, you can do set piece training on another day, and you should be fine for big games that you have to play. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of Game Changer. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to look me up on Twitter at Bustthenet or addicted2fm.com, our website. Once again, I want to thank everybody for supporting the show. Your comments, your feedback have been valuable, and it's given me a few ideas for the next show that I'm going to do. You guys take care, have a good one. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.